Hey everybody, Mike Slifer here in the First Alert Forecast Center, and we had some pretty heavy rainfall earlier today. We had some rumbles of thunder across the state too. We're going to show you just how much rain we've seen. But before we dive into the details there, we did want to let you know that the severe risk has diminished. We are done with any risk for severe weather, which is great news, and the flooding risk is gone too because everything has really fallen apart. Some parts of the state saw up to nearly 3 inches, especially in the eastern part of Connecticut. And just over the border, approaching Providence, 3, 4, even some spots near 5 inches of rain. There was some flash flooding in the greater Providence area earlier. Also wanted to mention that some spots just outside of Albany, New York, saw over 3 inches of rain too. So certainly a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, and that led to some very heavy rainfall earlier today. Since, say, mid-afternoon, we really haven't seen quite as much in the way of activity. We've been sort of in a lull, and we'll show you how we've missed out on the most recent round of rain. It is Thursday, which means the drought monitor was updated, and you'll note that more of the state, of course, in the abnormally dry region compared to last week, with the moderate drought now from parts of eastern New Haven County and along the shoreline there. But we want to just throw this out there. All of the rain we saw Tuesday night and all of the rain that we saw today, not included in this. So we'll see what the update looks like next week, as that will perhaps be a little more aligned with what we've seen for rainfall as of late. So we'll continue, of course, to keep you updated here as we get more info on the drought monitor. Next one released next Thursday. Here's First Alert Live Radar, Connecticut's only live radar, scanning clear and dry in the eastern part of the state. That's not the case in the northwestern corner of the state, though. So we actually want to take you there right now to, say, Norfolk, Colebrook, areas in extreme northern Litchfield County, right along the Massachusetts border. That's where we have some downpours passing through right now. Not too much of an impact here, but enough that it is worth mentioning. If you're in this region, you might hear a quick pitter-patter of rain, especially underneath some of these more moderate showers. These are all moving to the east, essentially due east. This is a loop over the last 30 minutes, so you can see them moving out of Canaan and basically moving right along 44 there through Norfolk to Colebrook and approaching Heartland too. So far northwestern Hartford County, next up to see some showers. And there are a couple of showers that have popped up too, closer to Barkhamsted, Simsbury, Avon. But again, this is not very impactful, and this is really all that we see across the state. Otherwise, things here in Connecticut are certainly a little bit improved over where they were. I think that's a fair way to phrase it, especially with the active weather that we had earlier on this afternoon and this evening. We had some pretty impressive thunderstorms out there, certainly. All right, it looks like I've lost my mouse here, so give me 1 second. I'm going to grab the clicker to click through these graphics. There we go. All right, so you'll note that this line of thunderstorms that we were watching approach split, and the southern part fizzled out almost entirely with just some light showers tracking out the Long Island Expressway right now and well to the south of Connecticut. And to our north, certainly a little bit more robust, but even those showers as they got to the eastern side of I-91 and into central Massachusetts falling apart too. There were some rumbles of thunder there at first, but those have since dissipated. We'll take you to some of our iCams here. Our iCam view here in Torrington. You can see the light being reflected off of the damp pavement there in the parking lot. Nothing too notable about the Naugatuck River right now, though. Here's our iCam view in Rocky Hill looking north to the Hartford skyline. It is getting moved around a little bit breezy out there. Mark Dixon actually said that he could feel a bit of a breeze out earlier, and by earlier, like within the last, we'll say 20 minutes or so outside. And we're starting to see the flag here on our iCam in Waterbury get moved around a little bit by the breeze. Our iCam view in Old Saybrook showing pretty good visibility along the shoreline currently. We'll take you to the Elm City. We can see a lot of the cloudiness still lingering, and we'll finish off with a live look on our iCam in New London, where the ferry loading docks have actually dried up a bit compared to our newscast earlier. 67 degrees right now in southeastern Connecticut. But wind speeds are sustained 10 to 15 miles an hour or so. So you'll certainly notice the breeze if you're outside. Our wind direction still out of the southwest. We're waiting for the front to actually move through. It will do so later on later on tonight. Dew points are in the upper 60s, lower 70s. It is muggy, if not just oppressively humid outside, depending on where you are. That's part of the reason why we can sustain some of these showers, too. And because of that, temperatures have not fallen much. Along and west of I-91, 70 to 75 degrees. 75 right now between New Haven, 73 in Hartford, the eastern part of the state, in the upper 60s and lower 70s. And temperatures will eventually fall. We have to get the front through first. But once the front comes through, we're expecting low temperatures tonight to be in the low and mid 60s statewide. We keep a lot of the cloud cover around. It will stay muggy out there. If you're out and about late, or if you work, say, third shift, you'll certainly feel it when you're heading out. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, First Alert Futurecast showing some lingering cloudiness, but by lunchtime tomorrow, the sunshine is back. Wind will be out of the west and northwest. Things will be much brighter tomorrow, and we will also be less humid, so it'll be much more pleasant outside, too. For the ride to school, temperatures in the mid-60s, no need for jackets at the bus stop, and you certainly will not need them for the ride home. Look at that, near 80 degrees with plenty of sunshine. For Friday Night Football, our game of the week is Norwich Free Academy at Xavier in Middletown. Temperatures still near 80 at 5 o'clock, into the mid-70s by 7 o'clock, upper 60s by 9 o'clock. So really a great night for football, a great night for the Durham Fair. We will be live at the Durham Fair at 4 and 5 p.m. tomorrow. If you see us, make sure you come over and say hello. Also for the Big E. So there's the front as it moves offshore, and by Saturday, we're tracking high pressure. That will be the dominant feature, allowing us to stay nice and dry. That also means, as an area of low pressure moves up the eastern seaboard, we see this nearly stationary boundary set up to our south. So later Saturday, clouds will be increasing, and then by Sunday morning, we are looking at least the chance for some light showers. It's not looking like a particularly wet day. Showers will favor the morning hours, and then we should see improvements as the day goes on. Even without much in the way of meaningful rainfall over the next few days, pollen counts will stay low too, which is great news. If you suffer from ragweed, sage, or grass allergies, you already know it. This time of year, that's what you have to be on the lookout for. Thankfully, that will not be a big issue, nor will it have a big impact on your weekend plans. The First Alert 7-day forecast showing temperatures still near 80 degrees, both Saturday and Sunday. And by Monday, unseasonably warm out there. Normal high on Monday, 70 degrees. We're forecasting a high of 82. 78 Tuesday, we'll have another front that moves through midweek. On Wednesday, perhaps Umberto will be south of Connecticut as that front drops through, and that's going to allow for some breezy conditions, and behind that front, well, things are going to get a bit chilly. 45 Wednesday night, 65 on Thursday. Shoreline towns right around 80 degrees the next 4 days, right through Monday, 78 on Tuesday, lower 70s Wednesday, 66 on Thursday next week. So just to put everything in perspective here, on October 1st, the normal high is 70 degrees. On the 15th, the normal high is 64. By November, we're going to start talking about normal highs in the 50s, and of course, those numbers get lower as we approach December and January. January, on average, is our coldest month. But we don't need to worry about that anytime too soon, right? Let's not rush the clock. We still have plenty of time to go. On the 8 to 14-day outlook here, as we get into the first week and perhaps weekend of October, the pattern certainly favors things to be running a bit warmer than normal. These shades of orange and red indicating the higher likelihood the temperatures will remain above normal. Now, normal is falling, as we just mentioned, and also we don't know how much above normal. But either way, you can bank on some more warmer days in the mix. We now see low foliage almost to the shoreline, and if we zoom out a bit here, there's a bit more foliage across parts of the Catskills, the Adirondacks, the Berkshires, into the Green Mountains, and especially close to Mount Washington in New Hampshire. So northern New Hampshire, western Maine, approaching peak foliage quickly. But as we get into the middle of next week, we are actually expecting to see a bit more color here in Connecticut. So you can expect things to look a little bit more, we'll say, fall-like, as they feel a bit more fall-like when we begin the month of October. In the tropics, Gabrielle is just a remnant at this point in time, the remnants of Gabrielle heading toward the Azores. And then we have Umberto, which is a tropical storm and a tropical wave that has a high chance of becoming named. Umberto's sustained winds right now are 60 miles per hour. It's moving to the northwest at 6 miles per hour, and that slow forward motion with very warm waters, little wind shear, will allow Umberto to start strengthening. It's expected to become a major hurricane category 3 forecast early next week, and then it moves west of Bermuda. But the big picture for us here in Connecticut is that late Tuesday into Wednesday, when that front moves through, that will deflect Umberto back out to sea, moving away from New England as high pressure settles in. Now, between that area of low pressure and the high building in, things do get a bit breezy, and we do expect that to be the case as we approach the middle of next week. But points thereafter, we're not looking at too much of an impact. When it comes to the actual, when it comes to tropics, we should say, certainly has been a little more active as of late, and we'll see if that continues as we get closer to the end of the month. I just wanted to mention that the tropical Atlantic hurricane season does run through the end of November, so there's still a lot of time to monitor. But here back at home, we're less humid tomorrow, improving. It's a great weekend, even with some showers early Sunday. It does not look like a washout by any stretch. And then Monday next week, plenty of sunshine, temps in the lower 80s into the upper 70s Tuesday, feeling a bit more seasonable, perhaps even seasonably cool Wednesday and Thursday next week. That'll do it for our first Alert Weather Extra. We will have much more for you on the wax at 10. You can join Chief Meteorologist Mark Dixon on Channel 3 tonight at 11 and join Scott Haney tomorrow morning. Again, we will be live tomorrow at the Durham Fair, so if you see us tomorrow evening, come over and say hello. Should be some great weather for football, fairs, foliage, whatever your Friday plans may entail. That'll do it for our first Alert Weather Extra. Have a great night.